Llacey. Oh, Llacey, thank you so much for agreeing to come on. I know that you're so busy and all the traveling and all the things that you do to make time for us. I appreciate you so.
Yeah, I appreciate you for inviting me here.
This is going to be a lot of fun. And I know we're going to, oh my gosh, these people are going to get so much value out of just hearing, what you have to say. So we know each other in real life. We just happen to live near each other. And we met because my little girl was being bullied. And one of my team members said, hey, you got to check out this little boy. He's like Gigi's age and he's changing the world and he's all about no bullying. And it turned out it was your son and I know your sister. Like, it was crazy. We were just meant to be like besties, So, and I've been watching you on Facebook and all the things you've been typing. And I can't wait. Every time I get the alert that you wrote something, I'm like, I gotta go read this. Like, oh my gosh, guys, you have to follow her. Like, it's captivating. And I have dyslexia. So for me to want to read anything, okay, it's got to be good. So I would love for you to just tell everyone who might not know who you are. I can't believe anyone doesn't know, but if they don't, so just give us a little backstory, a little bit like, who is Llacey?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really philosophical question, but for sure, I mean, I like to say I'm a creative copywriter. And so for those of you that might not know what copywriting is, so if you think of like blog writing or just general article writing, we kind of take that to the next level. So what a copywriter really does is sit and really think through the psychology of writing and how we can tap into various audiences and really accentuate those pain points they may be going through and really write the words in a way that's going to resonate with them to get them to take an action, whether that action is to book a call, to register for an appointment, or to even just directly enroll in a program of some sort online. So we're really kind of those psychological masterminds of really trying to figure out how to create stories and what we call copy or words that are going to really get that ideal client to want to work with you specifically. When I'm not doing copywriting, I'm still kind of doing copywriting with my son's nonprofit called Cool and Dope. And so a lot of the cool things that I've learned over the past few years with messaging, I always kind of test it out with his nonprofit first and see how it works in the market before I start working or using it with my private clients. Mm-hmm. But a lot of copywriters, a lot of what we're doing is a lot of experimentation, kind of seeing what does well, what we can learn from it, just to continue to evolve that company and prospect relationship.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And you know what? That's so much about like what I teach too with my surveys is it's about psychology and marketing together. It's not just like, buy me. Like you've got to take them on that fast journey to wanting more, right? And that's exactly what you're doing. This is awesome. Yay. Oh my gosh. So you've been typing some things. I call it typing. I don't know. Like you've been writing these posts and they're like, drawing me in and and they're like your story and things like that. So tell us about like for business, since these are all entrepreneurs or salespeople, like why don't you give us some tips on when we're writing our posts or our emails, if you could give us some tips on maybe do's and don'ts or something like that, whatever you think we should hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I think a lot of times when I say we, I mean copywriters, entrepreneurs, small business owners, I think a lot of times what we disconnect with is the idea that our prospects or our clients are humans that are in this ecosystem. So yes, they might have business pain points specifically, but they're also having been in lockdown for the past 18 months. They have family members they might have been able to see. They have vacations they had to probably cancel. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of other competing things in their emotional space. And so with that being said, what I really did was took a step back the past 2 months and actually invested over $2,000 of my money to hire other copywriters to just pick their brains and what they're seeing in the market. And hands down, all of the 8, and these are like experienced copywriters that have been in the game for 30 plus years, or younger, less years, but have had significant amount of growth. They all are saying the same thing. Stories are selling. Stories are really what are doing really well in terms of not even just social media posts, but Facebook ads, even website copy, websites that are really telling a story are really what's driving people to want to take that next action. Because if we think about it, we've been starved for connection for the past almost 2 years. We've been living in this Zoom space where I think a lot of us have gotten used to not really sharing what's going on in our lives. And so the more that we can share stories from a vulnerable place, we actually naturally get people to connect with us emotionally. And if we can emotionally get them to connect with us as a brand, as a person, as a company, then whatever we're offering them now becomes much more authentic, and it makes sense for them to take that next step.
Oh,
So I say all that to say, what I've been doing over the past kind of 10 days is really sharing stories from my personal journey. Not all of them have been like business related or copywriting related, but they're all really designed to share a new or different part of myself and an emotional experience I've gone through. And then kind of framing that story in terms of what the reader can take away from it and how they can walk away empowered of what they can do to kind of apply that lesson learned. And so out of the 10 posts I've done, only one of them really had a strong call to action of hiring me specifically, but I've been able to get, lots of clients reaching out to want to work with me just because of the posts themselves. They feel like they have much more of a connection with me, even though we don't know each other in real life, or there's something that I said, there's an emotion that I helped them tap into that really is resonating with them to want to trust me to move forward. Because that's what, selling is building that trust relationship.
Exactly. And I teach something called attraction marketing, where you're just like you're bringing the people to you versus like spamming them with like, buy my water bottle, buy me. And I believe this is the way we connect now, is that emotion and that the know, like, and trust factor, of course, but like the way you write, it's like, it's so captivating. Like people want more, like I'm seeking you out. Okay. And I know that other people are too. And, I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there like me. Well, first of all, with the dyslexia, I try not to write anything because it hurts my feelings when people edit it and put all the correct stuff. But what would you say, like, if someone has a hard time getting started, or they're afraid that if they share something that people won't want to do business with them, like, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say actually, be empowered and encouraged to take that leap. For me, one of the posts I shared out of the last 10 days was about depression. And like a suicide ideation that I had. And believe it or not, that post alone got me 4 or 5 clients. And so the idea of, again, kind of thinking about where we are in this space, a lot of us are anxious. A lot of us feel like we're lost and confused. And it's easier for us to gravitate to other people that are willing to share that they also may feel lost or confused than to gravitate to someone that seems like they have all the answers, right? Because then we feel ashamed, we feel embarrassed. That adds an objection that makes them maybe not want to move forward. So really sharing from a space of vulnerability with a story that's authentic will actually, believe it or not, pull people into you, because it makes them feel like you understand them. And I've had less people, because I struggle with that too. Like, they're going to think I'm crazy. Like, they're going to think she's not stable. But it actually had the opposite effect of them really, really trusting that their business is in good hands, because I'm open enough to share when I'm struggling. So I would definitely be open enough to share with them when they may not be going down the right path. So there's more of a higher level of trust. And I know Llacey has my best interest at heart, because she's willing to put her cards out on the table for everyone to see.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I love that. And I remember I read that post, and people were like offering you help, and you're like, wait, this is just my past story. And then I was seeing all the comments, like, and others were like, wow, you're so brave, and we're so glad you're here. And, it was like a surprise for me to read that story. And I'm so glad that you did not go through with it, because clearly you're here for a purpose. But when you were writing that, though, like, when you woke up that morning, did you say, okay, this is it, I'm tired of holding this inside of me, and I know I can help others? Or what prompted you for maybe that post or the other ones?
Yeah, I think I really thought through that whole series from a place of what are probably the top 3 emotions we all, from a human level, can tap into right now. And a lot of it was like, there are a lot of people that are in some dark days for whatever reason. Maybe they lost their job, maybe their marriage is falling apart. There's a lot, or they lost a significant person in their life because of COVID. There's a lot of dark and despair that's happening right now. And so we're trying to push through to this lighter space, but there's still value in embracing that darkness, because that's how we grow and become resilient. So I woke up that morning really thinking, like, I was able to overcome that, but I'm not unique in and of that experience. There's lots of people that are continue to struggle, some openly, some not as openly. And I wanted to share that post and the one right before it about self-worth, just because it just felt like something on my heart of what people will probably have been struggling with this past 18 months, if not now more than ever. And I also pride myself on not coming across as like a guru or an idol. Like I want to be a human. I want people to know that, yeah, I'm good at the work that I do as a copywriter, but I also have, outside experiences outside of the work that I do. And I bring in all of those powerfully inform how I show up for my clients, why I value their voice, why I am careful in how I craft my conversations with them, because we don't know what other people are going through. Right. And so really that series was also to show how all those things really inform the personality that I have, the approach that I take with my work, so that that there's more than just the copywriter that shows up to do it.
There's someone behind there who's, yes, with a lot of experience and knowledge. And don't you even own a goat?
Yeah, we had a baby goat. Yep, we bought a baby goat when we were in Florida for a month.
Yeah.
So yeah. We also had a pig previously, a miniature pig. So yeah. I'm also one of those like very eclectic, do something different kind of people.
And I love that. I think we all need to embrace that too, And so when I mean, now I'm learning more about like, copy and stuff like that. And so if someone were to hire you, like what do you do for them exactly? Do you know?
Yeah. So I'm really mindful of the fact that we all have very different ways of communicating and different learning modalities. So you mentioned like being dyslexic. I do work with quite a few clients that are dysgraphic, so they struggle with kind of getting it out of their brain on paper. And so to alleviate that, and some people just are natural talkers anyway, generally the process of working with me starts with nailing your story. So we will spend between an hour and 90 minutes together, really talking through your story, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And so it's my job to kind of just listen and absorb that information. And I take all those different journeys and those pieces that you share to really weave it into a story that can then personify your brand or your company. And the more that we can really, and we all, even if it seems so fragmented, we all have certain parts of our life that really inform why we're here today. Because I wanted to be a medical examiner. I have a degree in forensic science.
Wow.
I also used to tutor kids. So if we look at those, you might think, oh, they have nothing to do with copywriting, but they do, because they're all about giving people closure, giving people a voice or power. Yeah. And so I take that framework and we really get clear on your story, because the story then informs all of the messaging or all the kind of words and the Facebook ads and the posts and things that you do, because then it fits in a nice kind of tapestry of exactly who you are and what you represent. So we'll start with kind of that 90-minute call just to get clear on your story. Then I type that up, and I call myself a collaborative copywriter. So I don't expect me to do all the work. It's kind of a joint process where I kind of put my words down, get your feedback, and kind of work through that. And then really just understand your landscape. So one of the things I think that makes me different is I do invest 4 or 5 hours of my time without charge for every single client to do market research. Mm-hmm. So I get clear on who their competitors are, what the space they're in, so that we can find those messaging gaps, and there always are messaging gaps, where we can help them kind of step into that space and rise above and beyond what everybody else is telling them. And so the more I know about kind of your story and what makes them unique, the better I'm able to identify those gaps to really position them in a way where people will naturally want to come to them.
I love that. And, I know a lot of the ladies and gentlemen that are watching, a lot of them represent brands, not just their own brand. And I know for myself, when I switched to attraction marketing, where it became about the story I was sharing and how I could serve others versus the brand name, I struggled. Really hard with it, because it almost felt like a death, like I was doing something naughty, Yeah. And I see others who struggle, I'm over that now, but what could you, what words could you say to somebody who's really, they're almost like I always use the water bottle. I should get some stock in here. Okay. They're almost like they're hiding behind the brand because they think that the people want the brand, not them. And like you said, it's about trusting and knowing that person, right? So how could you help someone to see that they're valuable and they don't have to, that people will still buy from them and they don't have to say the brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really where I always put my focus on the story. And so I would, encourage them to think about, what made you come to want to sell that water bottle? What made you come to that brand? And usually there's something in our story, if we continue to ask ourselves the why behind the why behind the why, that really tells a beautiful story as to why we're selling that brand. So as an example, I had a client that has a hair salon, and they actually purchased it from a previous owner. And so everyone came to that salon for the brand. And so they were struggling with, how do I rebrand? Do I not? But at some point I need to make that transition because it wasn't what I created and I want to evolve it. And so I had them get really clear on what was the story behind why they wanted to even own a hair salon. Why did they become a hairstylist? And so for them, the beautiful story that emerged was that they had an elderly grandmother who they would visit in the nursing home, and they would do her hair, and that's how they bonded together. And I said, that's a great story. It's a story of, rejuvenation, giving someone value again, self-worth. You're not forgetting about them. You're bonding over conversation, bonding over community. And so we help them make that shift in the rebranding of their website. So the brand is still there for those customers and clients that know it. They'll continue coming there for the high quality service. But for those that don't, now they know that this is the salon you come to have authentic conversations, to be welcome, to feel powerful, to feel beautiful, to not feel forgotten. And so it was really pulling forth their why as the owner, to put it into the story, to then be able to elevate all the copy that was on the website.
Oh my gosh, this is like amazing. Are you guys, show us some love here. I love it. We got to go through all these comments. Can you see the comments on the side? You might have to click the comments button. But there's, oh my gosh, a lot. We got to go through these. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of awesome comments. And, while I'm listening to you, like my heart is like, wow. I mean, so many people need you, because I think so many people are actually struggling in business because they're trying to fit themselves into this box of what they are supposed to be like. And I bet that one thing that they're hiding from is really their zone of genius, and they need an expert like you to kind of pull it out of them, right?
Yeah, and a lot of what I say is I'm kind of like, I put the puzzle pieces together. They're all there. We just kind of put it together in a place that makes sense, in a way that makes sense authentically to them, and in a powerful way that helps them show up confident to the world too. Because all of the pieces of who we are, the journeys that we've been on, got us to this point here for a reason, and they all have value.
Exactly. And I know for myself that the thing that I was ashamed of, the thing that I was hiding from, the thing that I didn't ever talk about because I thought nobody could relate to, was my 3 brain injuries and my dyslexia. And it turned out that was the reason why people pay me now, is for my brain, which is crazy. But I had to step into that. And other people need to step into that too. But what I love is that you are an expert, but you went to other experts just to confirm and to do research. And I think a lot of times I talk with people and they're like, well, I only have 1 customer. I only have 20. So I'm not ready. And it's like, I don't understand. Why are they waiting for this giant thing? Don't they realize that this is what's going to get them to the next level? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, I put a lot of emphasis on just research, whether it's reaching out to, and believe it or not, some competitors will be receptive to having that conversation with you about, like, maybe obviously not giving proprietary information, but like for my case, like I'm always reaching out to copywriters, and it can be a very competitive industry because a lot of times we're paid on our results, but a lot of times too, they also want to embrace other copywriters and just be able to share what's working, what's not working. And so I always tap into that. And like, I try to reach out every 3 months, and, I pay them for their full rate of whatever they charge per hour, just to ask them, hey, where do you think the industry's going? What hasn't been working? What has been working? Because I realize, in my space, I've done a lot of work, but that can't assume that that's the totality of everything that's out there. And even the same thing too with market research, like a lot of companies have had to shift their messaging over the past 6 months because of the pandemic. And so if you haven't spent at least 3 hours this year doing market research, that's extremely important. And so when I say market research, I don't mean just like going to your competitor websites. I mean typing into Google what your ideal clients would be searching for. So if I'm looking for a copywriter, I'm going to type in how to hire a copywriter into Google, and I'm going to see what Google gives me back. And I'm going to click on the websites that come through, and I'm going to read the copy there. I'm going to go to Facebook and type in how to hire a copywriter, and I'm going to see what's going to come back to me. So really what you're doing is you're mimicking the client or the prospect journey to see what are they being presented with, and how can I make sure that if they land on my page or land on my Facebook page, that what I'm saying is different than what everyone else is saying. Yeah. And so that's what I mean when I say market research. And we're not necessarily out there to copy anything that anyone else is doing, but we're more so just to study what's out there and how we can be different in a way that's authentic to us.
I love this. Oh my gosh. We are like twins, because I always tell everyone, and I just talked to my team about that last night. I was like, you need to do test panels. You need to do market research. You need to understand what people are seeking, because how do you craft your message if you don't know what people want, right?
And the other huge thing that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners don't tap into is going back to previous clients. And I always ask them this one question. I would say, what is it that I gave to you? Or what is it that I helped you achieve? And just let them have it as an open-ended question, and just listen to what they say back. And generally, some of the things you get back have nothing to do with what's in your messaging. And so I give that as an example. When I was doing academic tutoring, I thought I had to put out there all my degrees, and like I helped students get A's on their tests, and I did math and science. And so I led from a very academic approach, because I thought that's what parents wanted to see in order to hire a tutor. But when I went back and actually talked to my students and actually talked to their parents, the consistent thing that kept coming back was that I gave them confidence. So yes, I helped them get results, but it was more important for me to give them a safe space to be vulnerable, to make mistakes, so that they could show up when they couldn't make mistakes and really be able to perform. I gave them confidence to be able to tackle whatever it was, and the confidence to be able to bounce back if they did fail. So I switched all my messaging, and now I position myself as, the tutor that provides confidence so that your kids can tackle math and science. And the amount of clients I was able to achieve from that skyrocketed, because not every parent wanted their child to necessarily get A's. They knew who their child was. It was more important for them to have their child leave chemistry with their self-esteem intact, or be able to be like, okay, I understand I might not be good at this, but I'm willing to ask for help. And so I would venture to say that there's all that opportunity for all of us to go back to our former clients and just ask them, outside of kind of the features and benefits that we push out in our messaging, what are some of the intangible things I was able to help you achieve? And a lot of times what you'll hear is like peace of mind, clarity, freedom, the ability to turn my phone off because now I have things on autopilot. So listen for those things. And those are the words that we can use in our messaging to really start to pull at the heartstrings of your prospects.
I love that. Okay, say it one more time. And I want someone who's watching to type this in the chat. Okay, so say it one more time. Go back to your former clients and ask them this one question.
Yeah, and ask them this one question. What did I provide to you outside of what you thought you were going to receive?
There you go. Okay,
so what did I provide to you outside of what you thought you were going to receive? Yeah.
That is genius. That is genius. Oh my gosh, I love it. And that's we start with one thing, right? And then we kind of let them guide us. And I love this, but we have to show up as ourselves. And I know that some people suffer with low self-esteem or things, but having an expert like you to show them their value, right? Their worth, to pull those key things out. I think this is genius. I want to look through some of these questions really quick. And then I know that you've got I almost fell on the floor when you told me the gift that you are giving. Guys, you have to stay till the end to hear this. Okay. I could not even believe it. I'm like, what? What are you giving? Okay. So where was my question? Hold on. Where did it go? I hit the wrong button. Oh, wait. Oh, everyone's typing for this. Okay. Where did it go? Okay, here. Deborah wants to know, how do you develop your brand? So I know that's a big question, but is there any small answer?
Yeah, and really, I don't want to keep emphasizing the same thing, but it really goes back to your story. And so really developing your brand kind of goes back to your story and really coming up with what I call, whether it's your life vision or we want to come up with a tagline of some sort or a big mission statement. And so for me personally, my life's mission statement is to live a life poured out. And so that means that no matter what I do, whether it's copywriting, being a parent, being a friend, I really do try to pour as much energy into that interaction as possible. And so I would really, and I'm sure there's always nuggets kind of in the story of your personal story or what you want to achieve that will really help you to start to craft a brand that's going to be above and beyond everyone else. This is also where market research can come into play. So then you can start to identify what we call the red ocean, what everybody else is saying, and how you think you're different. And once we attack or establish what makes you different, or what we call the blue ocean, then we can start to see some trends in there that then can really start to tell a brand story or a brand message. But it really all kind of comes back to owning and claiming and valuing and embracing your story, and then getting clear on what the marketplace looks like.
Exactly. Mildred, I think that answered your question as well. How can someone differ themselves from other competitors? I think that was the same answer, I believe, for that question as well. And oh my gracious. So if someone were to hire you, so would you, aside from helping them craft their story, are there any, I don't know, so is there any other services that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I offer anything that needs to be written, I can write, including press releases. But generally what we do is craft the story. And we craft the story in I craft in a couple different versions. One that you can share on your website. One that you can share if you're ever doing a speech or a webinar, so you can do it as a script. And then one that would be kind of a more formal bio if you ever need to share it with someone that's going to be highlighting you in an interview. So we craft those three components so they all kind of tell the same message. And then from there, if you have a website, we would then make sure that the website copy is in line with the brand messaging that we've created, which then informs any email nurture sequences, any landing pages, any webinar titles or Facebook ads or Facebook posts. But it all really starts with getting clear on that core story for your brand or for yourself individually if you're a consultant. And then all of that will then inform everything else. So generally I tell people anything that could be read by a client or a prospect, I can write. So whether it's a script, whether it's a Facebook ad, whether it's a YouTube ad, I've written them at least hundreds of thousands of times. So
I love that. And Heather's that, let's see, from her story, develop my mission statement and my tagline. So that's the progression, right? Yes. Oh my gosh. My heart is just like, I can't keep saying it, but like, I'm just so glad that I met you in real life. Yeah. Aren't you guys jealous that I know her in real life? But you guys are going to have a chance to chat with her. Like Llacey, I cannot even believe this offer. So would you please tell everyone what you would like to gift them? This is their lucky day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I generally, for like a 1 hour consult, I usually charge between $150 and $200 an hour. But, because Erica came to me and I definitely feel compelled to help more people own and step into their story, I'm happy to offer a free 30-minute consultation where we can talk through either your story. If there's something specific that you have a question about messaging or branding, we can kind of talk through that. And in addition to that, to make sure I show up to the calls prepared, I usually spend an additional 30 minutes before the call, also doing research as well. So if there's anything that you want me to review in advance of the call, I'll dedicate 30 minutes to doing that as well. And then 30 minutes for us to talk through it. So you'll really get an hour of my time for free, just to be able to help position you well to go through the rest of 2021 and into 2022 as powerfully as possible. So if you want to go ahead and comment copy in the comments, then that way we can kind of get a running list and I can reach out offline.
Yeah. So COPY, type it. Can you guys believe it? Do I get one?
Yeah. Of course.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, it's all coming in. Oh, look. Uh-oh.
Very cool. No, that works. Yeah. So just let me know, Erica, how we can coordinate that.
Yes, awesome. And I said, I'm going to teach you my survey method because that will help you to streamline all the people you're going to talk to and gather all the information. I was like, oh, this is great. We've got more and more and more. Oh my gosh, this is so valuable. I'm just like, you have no idea. I'm so excited. Clearly they are too, because I do know that a lot of people are really struggling. They know that God made them for more and they just don't know how to put the puzzle pieces together. And it's so funny that you said that because I did my first webinar last week and that was the whole theme, was putting the puzzle pieces together. So when you said that, I was just like, what? And so I'm sure you guys heard things that Llacey was saying that like hit your heart. Like, what? She just said something that resonated with me. And then now you connected with her. And that's exactly what she's teaching you is how you show up and you're connecting. And I mean, I'm just like, I'd be paying for this because what you said, I realize I need. And I know all of these people watching are like, yes, like, look at what Heather said. This is awesome. Heather, you should have your hubby do this as well. Her husband just started a business. So, I mean, this is awesome. And this is really where it starts with branding yourself, because if you don't know how you're showing up, it's kind of like you're just throwing all this stuff together to see. But this is the first step, isn't it?
It definitely is. And I always tell all my clients that I work with, don't discredit your personality and who you are as not being in a competitive advantage. Like, we're all, truly different and unique. And so that in and of itself, we're going to show up in a very different way. So me holding a water bottle and trying to advertise it will be very different from someone else holding up a water bottle. The water bottle is still the same. The only difference is the message is coming forward. And so definitely step into your personality, step into your story, step into all of what you represent, and own that as your largest competitive advantage.
I love that. I love that. And I mean, I hope that you guys all will chat with her. And I mean, this is a game changer. And so we are streaming this. So if you're watching this in Business Talk for Sales, hit that invite button and invite other entrepreneurs and sales professionals. If you're watching this on Erica V Online, my Facebook page, just share this out, because I know that this is that missing puzzle piece, and more people need to hear what Llacey has to offer. This is just awesome. So any final words, my friends, before we go?
No, I mean, I would definitely encourage everyone to think of a life slogan. Think of how, if someone were to use your name as the arch brand, what would they say in 5 or 8 words of what you represented? Because generally when we can get clear on what that is, and like I said, mine is living a life poured out. That's just such a beautiful way to inform everything else that we then do that point moving forward. It just gives us clarity.
I love that. So your life slogan is different than your business one then?
Yeah. But a lot of times it's going to inform how you show up in your business and what you then put forward in your business as well. So that way it tells a truly authentic story, because the last thing we want to have happen is our business representing something that we don't truly believe in. And so the more we can get clear on what we believe in, then we can craft that business around that. And that way we can show up as our authentic self all the time.
Oh my gosh. Somebody type that too. Well, if you're coming back to watch us, type in #replay. Don't forget the magic word is copy, COPY. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Llacey, for coming on here and sharing. This was a lot of valuable information. I appreciate you so much. All right, guys, share this out. All right. See you later. Bye.